Hi, my name is Aki, and I'm the founder of Pencilburn Studios. I say that, I'm the only person who works here. That aside, I also created CLAVUMS Adventures. But CLAVUMS Adventures didn't exactly just pop into my brain back in 2019. CLAVUMS Adventures has been at the back burner for, well, quite a long time now. I thought I'd make a video about it to show that you don't exactly hit gold the second you start mining. You know, it takes time. In fact, it took me quite a while to figure out what the heck Clavum was even going to be. But I'll get back to that later. So I hope you enjoy the origin and evolution of CLAVUMS Adventures. So let's start in June or July 2015. For the life of me, I can't even remember which month it was. I sat in a room with my friends and I drew some little characters, and I wanted to make like a little protagonist character. I showed them a couple of sketches and they said it looks cool, but originally the character who I was going to designate to be the main character didn't look very main character-y. He kind of just looked like a plain, generic, happy-go-lucky character. And that's good and all, but if you want to make something that stands out, you probably make him stand out, you know? So I kept workshopping. I drew a robot, I drew a girl, and I drew this guy, and then I kinda hit a block, so to speak. But then it suddenly hit me. So basically, before I had even started thinking about creating Clavum, I had these comics. They weren't anything extravagant, but I really hoped they'd be the next Marvel, so to speak. And I made these two characters, forgot the name, but they were these twin robots, and one of them had slightly spiky hair. And one panel I drew had hair that looked almost like Clavum's. Now, I don't know if I'd internalized that, because for the longest time I've convinced myself that I was trying to copy Sonic the Hedgehog, but I just drew a character with spiky hair. I showed my friends and, well, they liked it, but I thought it was kind of lacking in the shirt area. I didn't fancy the idea of having him just wear a plain shirt. And I said, what's something that could juxtapose nice and edgy? And one of my friends just borrowed my pen and drew a rose. Then came the part where I was going to name my character. The only name that was really coming to mind was Spike, but I watched a lot of Rugrats when I was younger, so I had internalized Spike to be a dog's name. So I decided to look up on Google Translate what would Spike mean in different languages, and eventually I came to Latin. I typed in Spike into Google Translate and it came up Clavum. So there, Clavum. Done. The character was born. In my head at that time, and at that moment, I thought, man, Clavum is going to be the greatest video game character of all time. You heard me right, I didn't want to make Clavum a cartoon in the beginning. I wanted to make him a video game character on par with Sonic the Hedgehog or Super Mario or Mega Man. So I started work. I fleshed out the other two characters, making the original main character Clavum's little brother and the female character Clavum's girlfriend, and they would evolve into Little Tom and Sophie. I also evolved the big guy to become Clavum's main nemesis, Mad Mac. Here's where it gets really strange. And here's where the idea of don't just rush into it with the first draft comes into play. See, Clavum was originally going to be a rock star, who is implied to be the long-lost son of Michael Jackson, and he was going to use a guitar to shoot lasers at bad guys to save his girlfriend. Yeah. For quite a while, I had dropped Clavum, but I had already kind of had an idea of what I wanted for it. Eventually, I drew up a picture that would become Jamal, and eventually I drew up a picture that would become Linda. Unfortunately, I lost the picture that I made of Linda, so here's a recreation, I suppose. I even mapped out a story that I wanted to cover, and that was that. Didn't make a video game, though. For better or for worse, I think for better. And I even caught at the idea of making CLAVUMS Adventures a comic book character that I could sell to someone like DC Thompson or something. But no. I kind of left the idea to die for a little while. I mean, I was in high school and people were drilling GCSEs into my brain every 5 seconds, so... Then I came back to it later on in 2016 and I kind of refined it. I gave the characters brand new designs, I fully integrated Linda into the cast, and I gave Mad Mac a design that's more recognisable, you know? It's not exactly what actually happened, but the blueprint is there, you know? Thankfully by this stage I had phased out the whole Clavum being a rock star shtick, and I started naming the characters as they would be named now. So, Clavum, Sophie, Jamal, Tom, Linda, Mad Mac, because originally they had really cringy names. I don't want to say them. Please don't make me say them. And I started planning new video games for the characters, and I started planning spin-offs and all kinds of things. None of them were very good, but yeah, progress, you know. Once again, I forgot all about it, but then I remembered, hey, I wrote a Clavum comic book once spontaneously in biology, and I decided I could give it a crack again, and so I wrote these Clavum comics, and it kind of started jogging the creative gears in my head, and I figured, why the heck did I stop making a video game? Now at the time it was because I didn't think I could make one as a 16 or 15 year old, but then I said to myself, hey, let's have a go. There's this thing called Scratch, I could do it on there, and I could probably embed to some like Games Freak or Cool Maths or Newgrounds or something. And so I kept writing comics every so often, and then I kept getting back to making a game. And I got very close actually. I made a title screen, I made a cutscene, no audio of course, and I tried making a level. I do have a demo kicking around somewhere. It's on my Scratch profile. I never published it, but that was that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna show it in this video, but if I do, then hey, look at that. It's neat, I suppose. Then I kind of came to a crossroads. My mum told me to check the copyrights of Scratch because there was a high chance that I could make this game, and simply because I made it on Scratch, Scratch would take all the profit and credit for it. Somehow we came to the conclusion that, yeah, that would happen. I kind of had to go into a dark corner and think about what the heck I was going to do now. And mind you, this was quite a while after I had even started making the game, so I had poured about, I don't know, 2 years into making it, and now I had to drop it. But during that time I had started making these little animated shorts, and I put them up on my Instagram, and my friends really liked them. So I figured, why don't I just do what I know? I wrote some scripts, I wrote something that can be approximated to be like a series Bible, I guess, and I got to work. Of course, I shouldn't have chosen the time when I was in the middle of my GCSEs, but hey, I passed them, so. By this time, the characters were looking more like you recognise them now. I'd included John and Jane, and I'd made more villains for the Clavum gang to fight, and yeah, things were looking up. No, I'd written scripts for about 10, 11, 12 episodes, put them on this disc, then the computer crashed and I was like, I'll just take this disc out so nothing bad happens to them. Oh, all my scripts are gone. I spent about a week trying to remember what I could and writing the scripts on paper, but eventually I got everything I needed. I wrote about 8 episodes and I started recording. I started animation work sometime in October or November of 2019, once again clashing with my academic work because I just started A-levels at that time. But luckily for me, the pandemic hit and I was able to finish the season's animation by that time. Originally I really wanted to have voice actors, but eventually I couldn't because of the cough. So I had to train myself to tackle multiple voices and think of all kinds of impersonations to do for other characters. That was quite hard actually. I originally wanted to do something like Roger Delgado for the main villain Mad Mac, and I kind of wanted to do like an impression of the Beatles for other characters, but you know, what we have is what we have and I'm quite happy with it. So after about 5 or 6 years of progression, of evolution, of scrapping, of revitalizing, comics, of Lego even, I finally revealed that I'd made Clavum Season 1 and that I'd put them on YouTube sometime in 2021, and the response was quite gratifying and I'm glad that people enjoy the stuff I make. So now we have Season 1, all entirely on the internet, and there's more stuff coming on the way, I promise. You know, Clavum may go all kinds of places. He might go into space, he might fight demons, he might just fight a guy who just wants to take over the world for an unexplained reason. And for the past 5 years, Clavum has been evolving and changing and becoming different things, from a cringy rock star who possibly is related to the King of Pop himself, to just a random kid who fights evil because. But I hope we don't lose sight of one thing. It all started in June or July of 2015 in a little classroom in a high school. So yeah, that's how I made Clavum's Adventures. That's how it, progressed. That's how it changed over time. That's how it evolved. I hope you found this video enlightening, or interesting at least. So thank you for watching, and watch this space, yeah?